Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the January 2022 meeting of the Lebanon Historic Preservation Commission. Christy, if we take the attendance roll, please.
Yes. Nicole Wethington. Here. George Piper.
Here.
Scott Allen.
Here.
Scott Sewell.
All right. We do have a quorum to conduct business tonight. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the November 2021 meeting. We did not have a meeting in December. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes? And if there are no additions or corrections, I will entertain a motion to...
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right. Next item on the agenda is a certificate of appropriateness. We have two items actually tonight. First one we will do is for the RT Investment Group, J. Tribbett, 107 East Main Street, for exterior renovations and restoration. First we will hear from staff, then we will hear from the applicant.
Good evening, Commission. Thank you very much. Real quick, one thing I forgot to put on the agenda tonight was the election of officers, but with it being a shorthanded commission tonight, we'll just wait to do that until the next meeting, and I'll throw that on the agenda. So we'll go ahead and get started on the application, COA application for 107 East Main Street. As George mentioned, this is RT Investment Group, and representing that group tonight is J. Tribbett. The address is 107 East Main Street. The property is zoned central business, and this property has not been before the Historic Preservation Commission in the past. The building classification is contributing, which is a building that's less than 50 years old and which is compatible with its historic surroundings, or in this case, a building which is over 40 years old and whose historic character remains but does not rise to the level of notable or outstanding. This structure is included in the National Register of Historic Places Lebanon Courthouse Square Historic District. The COA in front of you for this property is a facade restoration. Best way to describe it is a full restoration. The storefront windows and doors will be replaced. The asphalt shingle awning will be removed. Second floor windows reinstalled. Paint removed from the brick, which is on the east facing wall. Brick repair and tuck pointing. New lighting. And replacement of aluminum siding with cement board lap siding on the south facing second story wall. So before I go any further on that, I'm going to show you some pictures of the existing elevations so you can see what that description, my description I just gave you, what that looks like. So there you can see the asphalt shingle awning that is on the front that will be removed. The windows on the top there that have been boarded over. And on the south wall, there is the aluminum siding that is covering up the facade that faces the alley. So that is all part of the description. The storefront restoration is modeled after the Butler, Fairman, and Cipher facade study. I think most of you have probably seen that from time to time, maybe not Nicole and Scott. So it's not most of you. This has been used in other restoration projects brought before the commission. In the original study, the artist did not provide a street-level door to the second floor space. The applicant is seeking to install a third door so that each space has a separate entrance. The attached rendering is a representation of the configuration the applicant is seeking approval for. I'm going to bounce back to the proposed elevation and show you that. So that is a picture from the study. It's been slightly manipulated to show you that third door. So you can see, if you want to go to the eastern half there, you have a door on the far east, you have a door on the western edge of the east side, and then you have the western tenant space with the door on the west side of that space. So that is the configuration of the storefront that is mentioned in the staff report. The new storefront and second floor windows are dark bronze in color. New second floor windows will be installed in the existing openings on the north and south elevation of the building. There are 6 windows in the front and 5 windows in the rear second floor elevation. The applicant is also seeking approval to install 6 transom windows on the east-facing wall of the structure. So that is the wall that would be on the parking lot side of the building, which is where the city hall used to be, which was demolished. These windows will provide light into the hallway that runs the entire length of the building for the eastern tenant space. The south-facing second floor wall is covered in aluminum panels as shown. The applicant is seeking approval to remove the aluminum and install fiber cement lap siding in its place. Paint colors for the trim and siding have been attached in your packet. The trim color for the storefront components is Sherwin-Williams Black Swan. So that would be everything that's outside of the aluminum framing for the windows. And I can go back and show you those pictures if you need clarification of that. The paint color for the fiber cement is Sherwin-Williams Steely Gray. Don't confuse that with Steely Dan. New wall lighting is proposed, which is a gooseneck arm with a traditional half-dome reflector, black in color. So I will show you the transom windows. This is not to scale. This was just me kind of drawing them in, just kind of give you a representation of what the idea is like. This wall, as mentioned, portions of it were certainly not an original exterior wall. It was a shared wall with a city hall, as mentioned. So had this been built freestanding, so to speak, as it is, there likely would have been openings in that side of the building. And here is a picture of the gooseneck lighting, which is very traditional. You see this type of lighting in a lot of spots in our square. The recommendation: staff has worked with the applicant for nearly 2 years. It's been a long application. A lot of these take some time to put together. Staff has provided guidance and support. This application is in line with others that have used the BF&S facade study as a guide. The facade of the structure was substantially remodeled by the Cragen family in the mid-1940s, which included the blonde brick on the north-facing wall. There are currently windows in the second floor space, certainly on the north-facing wall, south-facing wall as well. Certainly the windows on the north-facing wall would have likely been replaced in the 40s when the facade underwent the substantial renovations. Staff believes the proposed changes will not have a negative impact on the structure or the district and recommends approval of the COA as submitted. Happy to answer any questions, show you any of those renderings that I glossed over, and the applicant is here if you have any questions for him as well.
Is that on the south side, Eric? Is it going to be where the siding is now? There'll be windows there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, the aluminum siding has covered up openings where windows used to be.
All right. And will they be similar, I guess, will they be similar to the ones in the front, or maybe slightly different, I think you said?
Yeah, they will be the same as the windows
Same
in
as,
front.
okay.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions for staff? All right, thank you. If not, we'll hear from the applicant at this time. So if you could step to the microphone, give your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jay Tribbett, 107 East Main Street, Lebanon. I guess I didn't have a lot prepared, so just any consideration would be greatly appreciated. My plan is to be here the rest of my life, so, and this is my hometown and so on and so forth, so. Any questions from any of you?
I guess just following up on George's question about that south side, so the entire aluminum siding will be removed?
Correct.
It'll be exposed brick with windows?
Not exposed brick. I don't know what's behind it, to be quite honest. So the thought is to put cement, what do we call it, cement board, siding back up around the windows.
Okay. I'm good.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, Mr. Tribbett.
Thank you all.
All right, any discussion from the board on this matter?
None for me.
If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the COA.
All right, do we have a second?
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Christie, take the roll, please.
Sure. Nicole?
Oh, irony, yeah. sorry.
Aye, yes, I said yes.
Aye.
George Piper.
Aye. Well, motion carries 3-0. All right, thank you, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good, nice aesthetic addition, especially with that windows on the side and a little bit of extra lighting out there, so thank you very much. All right, next item on the agenda is 115, oops, lost it here. 115 West North Street. That is also a COA from LLC Kent Mueller, window and door replacement. Again, we will hear from staff first, and then we'll hear from the applicant.
Thank you, George. All these applications have their difficulties, and not to diminish any others from this one, but this is certainly one of the more difficult applications that I've ever had to review. Had to call in some support just to make sure we were making the right decisions here, which I will get into in the staff report, but this chewed up a lot of my time over the last month and a half, and I wanted to make sure we got this one right. This is, as I will mention, an outstanding building, and I went back to my records, we have not had an outstanding building come before this board in the past, so this is uncharted territory, so to speak. The applicant, as George mentioned, is 115 West North LLC. Representing tonight, the LLC is Kent Mueller in the audience. The location is 115 West North Street. The property is zoned central business. This property has not been before the Historic Preservation Commission in the past. As mentioned, the classification of this building is outstanding. Outstanding building is rated as a building which is more than 40 years old and is of significant architecture or historical significance that is listed or may be listed in the National Register of Historic Places as a structure alone. Outstanding structures may be of local, state, or national importance. This building is not on the register as a standalone building, but it is on the register as included in the Historic Places of Lebanon Courthouse Historic District. The action requested tonight is a certificate of appropriateness for window and door replacement, excuse me. HPC staff used consulting provided by architectural historian Kyle Boat from RQAW for this report. RQAW is a firm that we have formed a relationship with that is kind of taking the place of Indiana Landmarks for us. Windows facing the north are wooden. The remaining three sides of the building have galvanized sheet metal windows. The storefront door is an aluminum replacement door. The east-facing double doors are wooden double doors, but not likely original. The south-facing doors are both metal and in very poor condition. The galvanizing is failing on the windows. When the galvanizing starts to fail, it allows the metal to rust. Many of the windows are showing significant signs of rust. The key difficulty to restore windows of this type is the problem in trying to stop the corrosion on the components that are not visible, hidden, and internal. So we can see the corrosion on the outside, but it's the things going on the inside which we cannot see that are of concern. Once the galvanizing starts to fail, each window must be completely rebuilt. This process involves each window being removed, taken to a shop, fully disassembled, fabricating new steel, glass replacements, reassembled, glazing, etc., the whole 9 yards. Preservation of steel windows is difficult due to rust, again. The existing windows are in poor condition. And I'll show you pictures of the windows as soon as I get through this. In their current condition, each window opening essentially requires fabrication of a new steel window. This process is time-consuming and very expensive. The level of restoration required for these windows produces essentially an entirely new window. The existing steel windows were most likely the most inexpensive window that provided a fire rating, likely a feature needed by Indiana Bell at the time of construction. Had all the windows in the structure been wood, preservation would have been the leading option. Preservation of wood windows is much more affordable than preservation or reconstruction of steel windows. With the result of a preservation effort being production of a new window, staff worked with the applicant to provide an acceptable replacement window that matches the detail of the existing windows. So, for example, that is what they're known as 6x6 double hung and 9x9 double hung. And the 6x6 and the 9x9 refer to the mutton, that is the dividers that is in each sash of the windows. And the transom windows throughout will match the same mutton style. The new doors are from the same pillow line as the windows and will complement the historic architecture. The architectural features of this structure are why it has an outstanding rating, not necessarily the windows. The most significant feature of this building is the stonework. The applicant has agreed to replace and repair all the existing stonework that surrounds the windows and doors as part of the replacement. During research of this application, a similar application was found in the historic district of Pontiac, Michigan. The same window was found in a 14-story building that was being repurposed. The same challenges outlined above were found, and ultimately the recommendation from that commission was replacement as well. The staff recommendation is, with the condition of the existing steel windows being poor to fair and the problems with long-term corrosion and operation, staff recommends replacement, which includes the existing doors and wood windows. The recommendation to replace the wood windows rather than preservation of the wood windows on the north elevation is so that the building has a consistent style of window around all sides of the structure. Staff believes replacement of the windows and doors will not have a negative impact on the structure or the district. So that was a lot, I know it was. So let me go back and give you just some quick examples, some up-close examples of what's going on with some of these windows. So this is on a west-facing bank of windows, and you can see the stonework that has failed around some of these windows. But the most important parts to pay attention to is the corrosion that you can see in the dividers there, and as well as on the bottom part of the sill. And this is pretty consistent with most of the windows. There's more rust happening there. Let's see here. You know, with the individual panes of glass being broken as well, that's why a lot of this is a complete rebuild. And the chicken wire, for lack of a better term, it doesn't really comply with the reuse of the building. Makes it very difficult. So clear glass would be preferred when you start to talk about the reuse of the building as they're talking about. If Indiana Bell moved back in and used it as their shop, it probably would have been okay, but for modern uses, it really doesn't serve a purpose. This is the door facing the south on the rear of the building. Again, rust all over the place. You can see it failing on the bottom. Would need to be completely rebuilt in order for it to work there. I think that gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on. Let me show you a quick spec sheet of the replacement windows. With our lightning fast Wi-Fi that we have in this room. There they are. There's the pillow reserve is the line of window, double hung. You can see same appearance of the existing windows. Part of this review, the question for me became, if you or anyone drove by yesterday and the windows were replaced and you drove by 2 weeks later, would you notice a difference? And with the detail of the muttons and the dividers, whatever you want to refer to them as, matching the existing, likely somebody driving by 20 miles an hour or even walking on the sidewalk probably wouldn't even notice. That style is consistent throughout. And just to give you a quick kind of comparison of refurbishment versus replacement and the economic difference between the two. Refurbishment of the windows was $531,000. So you're starting to creep up into a stratosphere there of almost build a new shell, for $531,000. The replacement proposal for all of it is $105,487. So again, certainly this application was not taken lightly. Had there been any chance for preservation, I certainly would have recommended that, but it just doesn't make sense in this case. So that is why staff supports the idea of replacement.
All right. Any questions for Derek?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the, yeah, like I scrolled through all of them earlier, and yeah, a lot of them do look pretty far gone, so, I mean, unfortunately, but, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the building has changed hands a few times over the last 5 years. Fortunately, the group that bought it from Pioneer Printing did a lot of preservation work on some of the failing masonry components of the structure. So that was a huge benefit to the building. The second group that bought it did some roof work on the property, so it stopped a lot of the water coming in from the roof. But now, you still have some things that are left over to do. This is one of the big things. But,
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful looking building from the outside, certainly.
Yep. So, again, the applicant is here tonight if you have any questions.
All right.
And if you have any other questions for me, I'm happy to answer them as well.
All right, great. All right, thank you. Yeah, we'll hear from the applicant now. If you want to step to the microphone, just give your name and business address for the record, please.
Kent Mueller, ME Rental Properties, 6578 Crosswinds Court, Avon, Indiana. And the owner, I have with me two gentlemen from White Oak Construction that have helped me, and Ron, my operations manager. So when my business partner and I purchased this property, we didn't realize the extensiveness of the windows. So working with Derek and coming up with the plan, this was the best thing that we came as a solution. We're looking to put mixed use in there for some apartments and some mixed co-working spaces. And so just looking for approval so we can move this project forward. Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion from the board on this one?
I think just seeing the dollars and cents, this is a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. And I think, yeah, just to see another building that, had been empty for a long time being put back into good use, I think would be a nice addition to the district, so. All right. If there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the COA as written.
All right. I'll second. Christie, take the roll for approval, please.
Sure. Nicole Wethington. Here. Or aye. George Piper.
Aye.
Scott Allen.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and good luck with the rest of the project. Christie, is there any other business before the board tonight?
Give some staff COA reports.
Okay, yeah, I did see something on the agenda. Yeah, okay.
This is a simple one. There have been no staff COA
Okay.
since the last meeting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. If there's no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.